It is time to start learning how to stringline your car, boys. It's 2026. No more talking about it. This is the year that you do it. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of how I go about it on my car, just the tools that I use and some things to watch out for. Then you're going to go away, get yourself some tools, get in the shed, get on it, go and run some PBs. So you will need a stringline kit. Obviously, you can do this with jack stands, and I did that on the Sylvia way back in the day. It is a lot easier with a stringline kit that can stay on the car, especially if you have to put the car up and down. And we'll get into why that's not a great thing to do later on. So I obviously use the NCR Stringline kit, so cop that logo, which is just all of these 3D printed bits and these little screws and captive nuts. There's some hooks in there and these guys. You can get them on the Facebook or on the website if you want one. Otherwise, there are other kits out there. You know, go forth, have a look. With this NCR kit, you will need to buy your own aluminium extrusion. That is, I think, 20 mil square hollow section, and then we've got some 25 mil circular hollow section down here. I think I ended up with maybe 2 lengths of that and a little bit of off cut. It was like $100 in material, nothing crazy. Then of course, you'll need some string. That is just basic builder's string from Bunnings. Cut some lengths of it, wrap it around, nothing crazy. Now, keen-eyed, you will see just inset a specific distance is this little notch that keeps the string in the right spot. I think for me that's like 50 mil, but the important part is that these pieces are the same length front and back and very precise on the cut, and that you set these notches very precisely because that's going to help you square the car up. Now, all square means is that the distance from the string to the hub in each axle is the same distance. So for me, that's approximately 170 mil on the front, 158 or so on the rear, because these have different track front and rear, which is very common. Now, once you've got those measurements, you will know how to set it quickly next time. That also includes the height from here to the ground, and I've got that written down. That will depend on what you are using to work on. Now, you can see in here, I'm using these TTI dollies. They are no more than maybe 100 mil off the ground, and that is enough space for me to get in and adjust toe and camber if I need to. Now, the other thing you'll see is I've got some 6 or 8 mil steel plate. Again, no more than $100 for that. And you might not be able to see. Can you see? Oh, yep. There's a couple of heavy duty plastic pockets in there with some grease. That's going to allow the wheel to move like this and like this as you adjust camber and toe and caster. Now, all of that put together, I don't know, $500-600 or something. So you can buy stringline kits with all the aluminium bits and pieces. I think maybe $600-700. It won't include the trays. You can also go ahead and make your own wheel cribs. I've seen those done in wood. The important part is that you need a flat surface at the top and you need some way for the wheel to move around. Now, that could be a slip plate, and they are readily available. You can buy nice little stands. I've seen is it Mitch's XLs or Mitch's Garage or something. They sell some really nice stands. They can be quite expensive. I already had the dollies. It's a very quick and easy thing for me to just pop the plates on the dollies, and that gives me enough space. Now, once you've got the strings on the car and square, and again, remember that means, you know, the distance from the hub to the string is the same on each axle, not front to back, on each axle. It's got to be exactly the same. Then you know that the strings are square as long as they are in a notch that is the same distance in from the end, front and back. So it'll look something like this. There you go, you can see the other bits and pieces in the stringline kit. And then all you're going to do after that is get under the car. Well, obviously you take some measurements first. So for toe, all you're looking at is, you won't be able to see that, but the distance from the rim to the tape on the front edge, the distance from the rim to the tape on the rear edge, and then you do some very simple math and you work out what the remainder is. So for me, I run a tiny little bit of toe out on the front to help turn in. So there's literally like 1 mil difference. So this distance here is maybe 1 mil closer than it is here because the wheel has a tiny bit of toe out. Now on the rear, it's the opposite, and it's a very standard setup to run a little bit of toe out on the front, a little bit of toe in on the rear. So it's actually the opposite. So the closest rim face is in slightly more than the rear. That gives the car a little tiny bit of toe in. Now the other one, I've got one of these guys, which is can you see that with the light? It is a cheap eBay digital angle gauge, not specifically a camber gauge. and then I've got a bit of metal on the bottom of it here, and that just helps me put it on the rim face in a nice sort of repeatable fashion. Pop him on there. Now these are relatively sensitive, so if you don't get it right specifically every time, what do we got? We should have about 4.1-ish. What's that say? You might not be able to see that, but 4.08, 4.09, depending on how you hold it. So that's about right for me. This will make life much easier, because without this, I'm just going to put him down, without that, you need to do a bit more math. So you need something flat to go from the bottom of the rim to the top of the rim, and then you can measure in from whatever that is out to the string, and then do some trigonometry effectively, and you'll get an angle based on that. And this is why I was saying that you can do this with jack stands. Jack stand here, jack stand back there, set at the same height, and then go from there. But if for any reason you need to lift the car up, every time you put the car back down, you've basically got to get on the radiator support, get in the boot, jump up and down on the car and get the suspension settled. Sometimes you've got to roll it backwards and forwards. Whereas if you give yourself a little slip plate set up, even a basic one like that, you won't have to do that. Even if the car goes up and down on the hoist, the strings stay attached to it, which means that the measurements, from our string to our hub stay where they need to be. The more repeatable you can make this process, the better the results will be. I've had pretty good success with this setup, with the exception of the occasional forgotten loose locking nut, but that's just user error. So that is a very, very quick overview. I'm just thinking if there's anything else that we need to know. But as I said, 100 mil, is all I need, and that is enough to get under the car, get to the lower control arm where the camber's adjusted, toes in here. Up the front is a little different if you want to do caster. Again, you can do that with a Stringline kit. It's just a bit more math, and you've got to make sure that you can set your wheel at a 20-degree angle, which you can do by marking the plates, and there's a few other ways that you can do that. So, do your research. But all in all, it's not a complicated process. You just need a couple of tools. So we're talking a Stringline kit, some aluminium extrusion here and there, a couple of strings, a very basic angle gauge, and you might have a better one as part of your trade toolkit, a tape measure, really rudimentary stuff. I'll link to this on in the description so you can have a look at it if you want. But again, a lot of you guys are going to have this stuff because you're tradies and you're much better with that than I am. But otherwise, that's it. So this is now set. In terms of my settings, as I showed, I think there's, a bit over 4 degrees camber in the front. I think about 2.5 in the rear, negative of course. A little bit of toe out in the front, a little bit of toe in the rear, nothing crazy. That's going to vary based on your ride height, your tyre compound, your spring rates. There's a lot of factors that go into that. So don't treat my settings as being, great for your car. You might be a better driver, a worse driver. You might like the car to be more tail happy, etc. So don't get caught on the settings. You just want them to be the same side to side. And of course, you do need to make sure, and you can see, we just look in there, I've got the wheel set straight before we start all this. So you get your wheel set straight, and then from that point forward, that you can trust these measurements. But really, the difference, front to back is the important part. That will tell you how much toe in or toe out you've got. Otherwise, just get in the shed and have a go. It is annoying to have to pop your car on a trailer every time, take it into a shop, and to get the alignment done. Yes, no doubt they will do a much better job, probably. There are lots of teams that really still use the Stringline kits, and I see them in the pits all the time, and top tier teams. But this will get you 95% of the way there at club level, realistically, and you can do this at home. And then you can take this stuff to the track. So you hit one ripple strip, something feels out, you can chuck the string lines on, you can see that the toes moved, make a quick adjustment. I will just say the other thing you need to be mindful of, particular with a McPherson strut car like this, is that as you adjust toe or camber, the other one will change. So in this car, for example, when I was fiddling with the rear just before, as I was adding negative camber, so leaning the wheel in, that was having an impact on the toe. So as you lean in, it's going to toe out more, and you'll have to dial that in. So you have to make incremental adjustments, if you're a long way out. Once you get the car set to what you want it to be, then usually adjustments are very quick, like it was in this case, unless you've hit something, bent something, something was loose, and it's a long way out. So any questions, chuck them in the comments. Hopefully you took all that in. And if you want to know more about particular tools that I'm using or something like that, you let me know in the comments or jump on Facebook or whatever. Otherwise, that is pretty much it for this guy. I've got to button it up and put a few more things back on the car, which I'll show you later. And we are almost ready for round 1 in Winton. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.